Chosen one, there are images, dreams, and impressions that have returned to you many times, not so that you may hastily declare that you know the future with certainty, but so that you may pause, reflect, and recognize what I am quietly forming within your heart. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you see yourself living a life very different from the one you have now, more peaceful, more courageous, more liberated, and no longer held back by old fears. There are nights when you awaken from a dream so vivid that its emotions remain with you, and you wonder whether it was merely imagination, an unspoken longing, or a deeper reminder. I do not want you to dismiss these things, but neither do I want you to turn every dream into a certain prophecy. Archangel Michael, the faithful messenger, protector, and executor of my will, is mentioned as an image of courage and vigilance, reminding you to preserve what is good within your heart without being carried away by illusion. I lead you through peace, wisdom, and righteous choices, not through agitation that compels you to decode every sign in haste. Perhaps you have seen within your mind scenes of work that carries greater meaning. A peaceful home, a sincere relationship, or a version of yourself who lives with confidence and purpose. These images may arise from deep desires you have not yet dared to acknowledge. They may also reflect something you are being moved to build. But remember, a beautiful vision does not automatically become reality, simply because you have seen it within your mind. It must be placed into hands willing to act, a heart willing to persevere, and a life willing to change. I may plant within you a desire to move toward what is good, but you must still learn, prepare, and choose each day. The future is not a film already completed, waiting for you merely to sit until your scene appears. You are cooperating with me through every small decision, every time you rise again, and every act of kindness you perform when no one applauds. I know there have been times when you felt you had foreseen a change, yet waited a long while and saw nothing happen. This may have left you disappointed or caused you to question your ability to discern. But do not condemn yourself. Some images simply express your desires. Some dreams reflect anxiety, memory, or thoughts you carried during the day. Other impressions may help you recognize a real need that has been neglected. Instead of immediately asking whether something is a prediction, ask what it may be teaching you about the present. If you dream that you are free, perhaps you need to examine what is currently binding you. If you see yourself standing calmly before a crowd, perhaps you are being invited to develop your voice and courage. If you see a home filled with harmony, perhaps you need to begin by healing the way communication takes place within your family. An image can become an invitation to change without becoming an exact map of the future. You once hoped that your life would begin with one great opening scene, in which everything suddenly became clear, and all your difficult years received an immediate explanation. But the most important part of the story rarely begins with great noise. It begins when you stop postponing a necessary conversation, when you dare to apologize, when you establish a healthy boundary, or when you begin learning a skill again, even though others started before you. It begins on the morning you decide to care for your health. On the evening, you turn off the noise so you can listen to what truly matters. And on the day, you stop comparing your journey with someone else's. These small moments may not look like turning points, yet they are changing the direction of your life. The film of a beautiful life is created not only through magnificent scenes, but through countless sincere choices made during ordinary days. I do not want you to believe that everything has been scheduled with exact precision and that you have nothing to do except wait. Such thinking may make you passive, cause you to neglect responsibility, or keep you in an unhealthy situation while hoping that change will suddenly appear. If you desire a new job, develop your abilities and seek opportunities. If you desire financial stability, begin by looking honestly at reality, managing small amounts wisely, and avoiding promises of effortless wealth. If you desire healing in a relationship, speak honestly and determine whether both people are willing to change. If you sense that your life needs a new direction, seek wise counsel, take small steps, and observe what produces lasting peace. Faith is not sitting still before a dream. It is walking responsibly, even when you cannot yet see the entire road. There are things you once felt certain about that later did not happen. Let this teach you humility. You do not need to explain everything away in order to protect an old belief. Maturity means being willing to admit that you may have misunderstood, that emotion may be influenced by desire, and that not every coincidence carries a special message. Humility does not weaken your faith. It protects you from impulsive decisions. When you experience a powerful impression, give it time. Examine whether it agrees with upright values, respects the freedom of others, and leads you to live more responsibly. Anything that draws you toward manipulation, pride, or denial of reality is not a voice you should follow. I also want you to be careful when a dream or vision concerns another person. You may feel that someone will become your life partner, collaborator, or an important part of your future. But such an impression does not give you the right to decide on their behalf. Do not say that I have appointed them for you, and then use that claim to pressure them. Do not turn their friendliness into proof of a story that only you believe. Look for clarity, willing consent, and real actions. Sincere love is not afraid of an honest answer. It does not use what is sacred to keep another person trapped in a sense of obligation. If two people truly share a path, that path must be built through mutual agreement, respect, and responsibility. Perhaps you have seen within your mind a great breakthrough in which everything that once kept you trapped is finally left behind. I want you to understand that the deepest breakthrough is not always visible from the outside. Sometimes it is the day you stop returning to someone who repeatedly hurt you. It is the moment you stop believing the lie that you are worthless. It is when you dare to seek help instead of continuing to hide your pain. It is when you forgive yourself for old choices and begin rebuilding through small actions. No one may immediately see that change. Yet inwardly, you are no longer the person you once were. When the way you think, choose, and establish boundaries changes, your outward life will gradually change as well. Do not wait until you feel completely ready before beginning. Readiness is often formed while you are walking. You may tremble and still speak the truth. You may remain uncertain and still take the next wise step. You may not yet see the whole outcome and still care for what is before you. I do not demand that you possess a perfect vision of the next 10 years. I only invite you to be faithful today. Complete the work you have been postponing. Call the person to whom you need to apologize. Clean the space that reflects the disorder within you. Reduce the voices that continually cause you to compare yourself and question your worth. Every small action completed with clarity becomes a new frame in the story you are writing. At times, the future feels very near, as though everything would become different if you could only cross one threshold. That feeling may bring hope, but do not allow it to make you despise the present. A beautiful future is not built by hating today. Learn to live fully with what you possess now, even though it is not yet perfect. Be grateful for the people beside you, the work that sustains you, the opportunity that allows you to learn, and even the limitations that teach you patience. Gratitude does not prevent you from desiring something better. It keeps you from constantly chasing the next scene while missing the beauty of the one currently unfolding. I know you have lived through seasons that made you feel as though your story had been interrupted. There were unfinished plans, relationships that ended, opportunities you missed, and years in which you believed you had taken the wrong direction. But one difficult stretch of road does not make the entire journey meaningless. What you learned through disappointment may help you avoid a similar choice. Loneliness may teach you the difference between needing someone and being ready to love someone. Failure may give you humility and skill that early success could never have provided. I do not call suffering good, but I can help you turn its lessons into foundations for something good. If an image of the future gives you hope, hold it with open hands. Do not grip it so tightly that you reject every other path. What you desire may come to pass in a different form. You may receive work unlike what you imagined, yet better suited to your abilities and way of life. Healing may not mean that someone from the past returns, but that you find enough peace to no longer need them to come back. Success may not mean fame, but the freedom to live honestly, spend time with those you love, and create genuine value. When you stop demanding that I fulfill everything according to your exact script, you will begin to recognize doors you could not see before. You do not need to write a sentence in a comment section to confirm your future or prove your faith. An action performed online neither opens nor closes my path for you. If you desire to share a word of hope, do so freely, not because you fear that ignoring it will make you lose an opportunity. What I seek within you is transformation in the way you live, that you learn to apologize more deeply, work more honestly, treat others more kindly, and release the habits destroying your peace. A declaration may encourage you for a moment, but only perseverance creates enduring change. You do not need to remain with any message because you are afraid of missing one final sign. I do not hide my guidance behind a test designed to keep you staring at a screen. Truth does not need threats in order to be heard. If a teaching makes you panic, that leaving will cause you to lose a blessing. Step back and recover your calm. I do not want you to become easily controlled by curiosity, time pressure, or exaggerated promises. I want you to examine wisely, choose freely, and retain only what helps you live more uprightly. Your relationship with me does not depend on a video, a speaker, or an online ritual. When Michael is mentioned as a protector, remember that the strongest form of protection is often the ability to recognize a lie. One lie tells you that you must know the future with certainty before you can have peace. Another tells you that you only possess value when you become the successful version you once imagined. Another causes you to believe that an unfulfilled dream means you have failed or been forgotten. Allow the sword of truth to cut through such beliefs. You do not need to know everything that is coming in order to live well today. You do not need to become prominent in order to have a meaningful life. You do not need every desire to become reality in order to know that your journey remains worthy of gratitude. I want you to look again at your old dreams, not with regret, but to see what within them is still alive. Perhaps you once desired to write, study, serve your community, build a kind family, or perform work that created genuine benefit. Even though many years have passed, you may still begin at a level suited to your circumstances today. Do not wait for a perfect time. Write one page, study one lesson, make one call, or devote 1 hour each week to what you believe is meaningful. Small steps do not make a dream insignificant. They transform something vague into a real path. If you once dreamed very greatly, but now recognize that you need to change direction, do not regard this as betraying your former self. Sometimes maturity means allowing a dream to be adjusted. A goal that suited you at an earlier age may no longer nourish you today. I do not require you to remain loyal to every plan you once made. I invite you to remain loyal to deeper values: love, truth, compassion, responsibility, and peace. The form may change while the essence remains. You may not live the exact film you once imagined, yet you may live an even more beautiful story because it is true. Some dreams return repeatedly, not so that you may hastily assume every image is a certain prediction, but so that you may slow down and listen to what within you needs to be acknowledged. My beloved child, I know there are nights when you awaken with the same familiar emotion, as though an unfinished story were gently knocking at the door. The setting may change slightly, yet the feeling remains the same. A road not taken, a door unopened, a person who appears and disappears, or you yourself, standing in a place you have never visited in your present life. Such dreams may leave you both hopeful and confused. Archangel Michael, the faithful messenger, protector, and executor of my will, is mentioned to help you remain courageous before what you do not understand, but not to turn every dream into a judgment about the future. I want to protect you from both indifference and gullibility, so that you may receive what is meaningful while remaining firmly grounded in truth. During the day, your mind may be crowded with too many voices. Work, responsibilities, worries, unresolved conversations, and the expectations of others all compete within a limited space. When night comes, the things pushed aside may return through images and emotions. Therefore, a recurring dream may sometimes reflect something that troubles you, a fear not yet named, a desire you have not dared to acknowledge, or a memory still affecting the way you live. I do not want you to dismiss all of this as meaningless, but neither do I want you to confidently declare that every detail will happen in the physical world. Wisdom begins when you are willing to ask, what is this dream revealing about my present life? Is it reminding me of something that needs to be completed, an emotion that needs healing, or a decision I am avoiding? If you repeatedly dream that you are running, but never reaching your destination, perhaps you are exhausted from trying to do too much without knowing what truly matters. If you dream of an old house, perhaps family memories or a former season still need to be revisited. If you repeatedly stand before a door without entering, perhaps you fear change even though you know growth is necessary. If you dream that you have lost your voice, perhaps in waking life you have become accustomed to silence in order to avoid conflict. These interpretations are not absolute formulas, because each person carries a different story. What matters is not discovering a mystical explanation, but developing the ability to be honest with yourself. You may write down a dream after waking, not to hunt for signs, but to notice recurring themes. Record what you saw, the emotion that remained, and what was happening in your life at the time. After a while, You may recognize connections between the dream and the pressures, hopes, or decisions you are facing. When you look back calmly, vague images may become a mirror that helps you understand yourself more clearly. But if you cannot remember, do not force yourself. Not every dream needs to be preserved. Some are merely the mind arranging the experiences of the day before they fade with the arrival of morning. I do not impose a deadline requiring a detail in your dream to become reality. You do not need to count the days, wait for a scene to appear, and treat it as proof that you are special. When you live in tense expectation, you become more likely to assign meaning to every coincidence and overlook what is actually happening. A face resembling someone from a dream, an accidental phrase, or a familiar place is not enough to conclude that the future was foretold. Allow truth to be confirmed over time through actions, circumstances, and clear decisions. What is good does not require you to force reality to conform to the image you saw. Some dreams give you hope for a different future. You see yourself more peaceful, doing work better suited to you, loving more deeply, or living in a home filled with laughter. Do not despise that desire. It may reveal what truly matters to you, but remember that a beautiful vision only becomes useful when it inspires you to live better today. If you dream of harmony, begin learning to communicate gently. If you see yourself healthy and full of life, care for your present habits. If you imagine meaningful work, develop your abilities, explore opportunities, and remain faithful in small steps. A dream does not replace action. It may become inspiration for purposeful action. Other dreams may leave you troubled. You may see loss, pursuit, abandonment, or danger. Do not immediately assume that such a dream is a certain warning of an approaching event. When you are stressed, sleep-deprived, or recovering from something painful, dreams may become intense. Care for your sleep, reduce disturbing content before bedtime, and speak with someone trustworthy if anxiety continues. If nightmares recur frequently, make you afraid to sleep, or affect your daily life, seeking professional help is a wise choice. I do not want you to suffer in silence, because you believe everything must be explained only in spiritual terms. You may also experience a sense of foreknowledge that you cannot explain. A thought may appear with great clarity, or you may feel that you should move forward or stop, even though circumstances have not yet provided an answer. I have placed within you the capacity to recognize subtle things, an inconsistent tone of voice, a change in behavior, the atmosphere of a conversation, or lessons learned from past experience. People often call this intuition. Intuition can be useful, but it is not always accurate. It may be formed through experience, but it may also be affected by fear, prejudice, or wounds that have not yet healed. Therefore, listen to it without treating it as infallible. When a powerful feeling appears, ask yourself where it is leading you. Does it help you calmly observe, or does it pressure you into immediate action? Does it help you respect yourself and others, or does it make you want to control everything? Does it agree with upright values such as honesty, love, and responsibility? An impression worthy of consideration will not require you to violate your conscience, harm someone, or use my name to compel others to obey you. If an impression concerns a major decision, give it time. Gather information, seek trustworthy advice, and consider the consequences. I am not offended when you examine what you feel. Caution may be part of mature faith. Sometimes you may feel certain that an opportunity is approaching, even though no evidence is visible. That hope may encourage you to continue preparing, but do not turn it into an absolute promise. Prepare your application. Develop your skills, care for your relationships, and perform well in the work before you. If the opportunity truly appears, you will be better prepared. If it does not arrive in the form you imagined, what you have learned will still not be wasted. I do not want you to remain inactive, because you believe the future has already been arranged. I want you to live responsibly, so that even if the road changes, you will remain capable of moving forward. At times, your intuition may tell you that someone is not trustworthy. Do not immediately assign evil intentions to them based upon a feeling alone. Observe their behavior, consistency, and respect for boundaries. You may have noticed something unusual that your conscious mind has not yet named, but it is also possible that this person has unintentionally awakened an old memory that causes you to become defensive. Give yourself the necessary distance while continuing to examine the situation fairly. If there are concrete behaviors such as lying, manipulation, insults, or control, you have the right to establish boundaries. But when there is no evidence and the person continues behaving kindly, be careful not to turn a feeling into a conviction. There may also be times when your intuition causes you to believe that a particular person must belong to you. You feel a sense of familiarity, harmony, or as though you have known them for a very long time. That emotion may be beautiful, but it does not give you the right to write another person's choices for them. Sincere love requires clear consent, respect, and actions from both sides. Do not use dreams or inner impressions to declare that someone has been reserved for you and then make them feel obligated to respond. I do not lead love through coercion. What is healthy gives both people the right to speak. Honestly, move slowly, and choose freely. I know you have experienced intuitions that later seem to become true. This may tempt you to believe that every future impression must also be correct. But my beloved child, several coincidences do not make you incapable of error. Remain humble. Human beings often remember very clearly the things they predicted correctly, while forgetting the many things that never happened. When you understand this, you are less likely to be led by excessive confidence into unwise decisions. Humility does not take away your sensitivity. It makes your sensitivity safer. If what you sense concerns your health, do not rely solely on intuition. An unusual sensation within your body should be observed and may require professional guidance. I do not want you to diagnose yourself or panic because of a dream. If it concerns finances, do not invest merely because you feel certain. Examine the information, understand the risks, and avoid promises of effortless profit. If it concerns work, review the contract, responsibilities, and actual environment. Faith does not eliminate careful examination. It helps you examine without being ruled by fear. There will be times when you do not receive a clear answer. You may pray, reflect, and seek advice, yet remain uncertain. In such a situation, you do not need to force yourself into false certainty. Choose the safest and most upright step available to you. Do not sign what you do not understand. Do not promise what you cannot fulfill. Do not abandon everything because of one passing feeling. Take reversible steps, observe the results, and adjust. I may guide you through a process of testing and learning, not always through one moment of complete clarity. Michael is an image of courage under my guidance, but that courage is not found in declaring that you know everything in advance. It is found in admitting that you do not know, while still preserving peace and doing the next right thing. It helps you cut through the lie that you must decode every dream in order to remain safe. It reminds you that your peace does not depend on correctly predicting the future. You may not know what will happen tomorrow, and still live honestly today. You may not see the entire road, and still take the kind and righteous step before you. I want you to release the need to turn every experience into a special sign. A gust of wind, a repeated number, an accidental song, or a vivid dream does not necessarily carry a hidden message. When you search for signs in everything, you may overlook the clear voice of responsibility, love, and truth. I have already given you enough light to know that honest words are better than deception. Forgiveness is better than revenge. Discipline is better than delay, and compassion is better than contempt. You do not need a dream in order to begin doing these things. Even so, do not lose your ability to dream. I do not want caution to turn you into someone cold and without hope. Continue imagining a better life, but build it through real steps. Dream of healing, and then begin speaking about what you have hidden. Dream of a peaceful family, and then learn to apologize and listen. Dream of meaningful work, and then labor faithfully where you are now. Dream of freedom, and then release the habits keeping you within old cycles. Dreams become most beautiful when they teach you to live better, not when they cause you to escape reality. Forgive yourself for the times you misunderstood a dream or placed too much expectation upon a feeling. You are learning. No one matures without making mistakes. Do not use old errors to make yourself afraid of every new decision. Learn the lesson, adjust, and continue walking. If you once spoke with excessive certainty and later realized that you were wrong, humbly admit it. Such honesty does not diminish your value. It proves that you love truth more than your own image. Forgive those who mocked your dreams and hopes, but do not reject every word of advice because of them. Some people may not understand you, while others may sincerely recognize risks you have overlooked. Listen without giving them authority over your life. Keep what is good, consider what is reasonable, and release the contempt. You do not need to argue in order to prove that your future deserves hope. Allow perseverance, character, and results over time to speak. Now rise with a new perspective. When a dream returns, receive it with curiosity rather than fear. When a deep impression appears, listen without immediately obeying. Examine it, pray, reflect, and speak with wise people. Keep your eyes open to reality and your heart open to goodness. You do not need to know every scene of your life in advance in order to live a meaningful story. You only need to remain faithful to what is right each day. Then return to peace. Be grateful that your mind possesses the ability to imagine. That experience has taught you discernment, and that every day still gives you another opportunity to choose. Rest without forcing yourself to find answers during the night. Awaken and do what needs to be done with focus. Love the people standing before you, instead of only waiting for the people in your dreams. Care for the present, rather than living entirely within a future that has not yet arrived. When you learn to unite hope with responsibility, intuition with examination, and faith with wisdom, you will walk with greater steadiness.